The boardroom smelled of fresh varnish mixed with stale betrayal. Evan Pierce, the CEO, couldn't hold my gaze as he spoke. His voice wavered slightly, though he tried to cover it with polished professionalism. "We appreciate everything you've done, Nathan. The merger will move forward without you." He didn't need to say more. I already understood. They'd taken my work, my patent, my years of effort, and now they were discarding me just before the payoff. 6 years I had poured into building the algorithm that made their entire acquisition possible. 6 years of sleepless nights, quietly shaping brilliance while others stole credit in boardroom presentations. I noticed the looks around the table: legal, finance, PR. They all knew what was coming, yet no one spoke. So I smiled. "Of course. Thank you for the opportunity." They thought they had one. The seed. Evan and I weren't always adversaries. I remember our first night in the lab: pizza boxes, empty coffee cups, and the spark of shared ambition. He called us architects of the future. I believed him. Back then, we were just two engineers chasing a dream. Together, we built the company, the system, the patent. But success has a way of turning good men sour. By the third year, Evan had stopped calling me his partner. First CTO, then tech lead, then nothing at all. He brought in investors, men with overly wide smiles and firm, exaggerated handshakes. Meetings shifted from vision to valuation. I watched him change, hungering for prestige, dressing for magazine covers instead of late-night debugging sessions. The first real fracture came when I discovered a copy of my code on his private server. He claimed it was testing redundancy. I knew the truth. Betrayal. I didn't confront him, at least, not yet. I observed. I waited. Every update he presented to the board carried my fingerprints, hidden in variable names, logic structures, syntax quirks. He was stealing my work, one commit at a time. So I began documenting everything quietly, obsessively: GIT logs, email threads, NDA drafts. I even recorded some of his late-night calls when he assumed no one was listening. Then, one evening, a junior associate accidentally copied me on a legal memo. It detailed merger terms, acquisition value, and in a single, buried line, I saw it: all intellectual property, including the Pierce algorithm, will transfer to H Dynamics upon signing. The Pierce algorithm, my algorithm. That was the moment my anger shifted into strategy. Revenge doesn't thrive on rage. It thrives on patience. 2 months before my termination, I quietly refiled the original patent. Early on, Evan had insisted it be filed through a temporary shell entity to keep things clean. What he didn't realize was that I was the inventor of record. Me, and only me. I updated the filings, tightened the ownership chain, moved the registration to a private LLC under my control. Everything legal, everything silent. Then I waited. The week before the merger, HR called me in with that practiced sympathy. "Restructuring," they said. I nodded, signed the papers, and walked out. They thought they had removed me, but I was still the foundation of everything they had built. The signing. On the morning of the merger, I sat in a cafe across from the hotel. Rain streaked the windows. News vans lined the street. Inside, everyone in crisp suits wore forced smiles. I could see them: Evan, the board, the lawyers, looking triumphant. Then the phone rang. HS lead counsel. I had sent a single-page verification request an hour earlier. Just standard due diligence, proof of patent ownership before transfer. When they checked, the system flagged it: inventor, Nathan Cole, Assany, Equinox IP Holdings LLC. Mine. Through the rain, I watched the first frown appear, then whispers, then shouting. Papers shuffled, faces drained. Evan's jaw clenched, his hand trembling as he grabbed his phone. I didn't answer. The reckoning. By noon, the merger was dead. Without the patent, the valuation collapsed. Investors fled. Stock halted. Evan's empire dissolved in a single day. That night, an email from him arrived. 4 words: "What did you do?" I didn't reply. A week later, I sold the patent to H privately for a fraction of the merger price. but enough to make every sleepless night worth it. I hadn't destroyed him out of spite. I simply corrected the record. The world would know whose idea it really was. Sometimes justice doesn't roar. Sometimes it signs quietly. As for Evan, last I heard, he's still trying to start over. Funny thing about rebuilding from scratch, you can't recreate what was never truly yours.